For most people, walking down the street is taken for granted, but for Tamara, she can't even walk around her own backyard without pain. Here is a story of a woman who was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease as a child that leaves her in pain most days, and her painful road to healing.
I've had arthritis since I was 3 years old. I was living in Cape Cod at the time, and my mom noticed that I was limping a lot. So she took me to the doctor, and they couldn't find anything wrong. They did a bunch of tests, and it wasn't until I was like 5 years old that they figured out that I had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. I always had problems with my left hip, but it never really bothered me too much, and my arthritis went into remission when I was about 13. Never had any problems until I turned 30. And then it was always like feet and left hip were the ones that bothered me the most. But I didn't actually get really bad with the hip until after, or before I should say, no, after I had my first child. I had to go off all my arthritis medications in order to get pregnant with my first child. And then after she was born, I stayed off of them because we thought we might want to have another kid. And while I was pregnant, I was in a lot of pain and really having a hard time with my hip. And it was at that point that I started to have trouble walking. Before that, I was fine, able to hike. But after the baby was born, the hip just got worse and worse. And that's when I decided to go see an orthopedic surgeon and find out if I needed a new hip, which of course I do. So now I am scheduled to get a new hip on May 1st. Just outside of the actual surgery itself, and of course you worry about complications, but those are pretty rare, so I'm not that worried about those. But outside of the surgery, I'm just worried about having 2 small children and having to recover from a major operation like this. It's going to take about 6 weeks until I can carry the baby again. Maybe, although nobody really can give me a clear answer on that. It's going to take about 3 months until I can resume all my usual activities, but that's always dependent on the person and the recovery. So yeah, I just worry that things are going to be hard for a while and that she's not going to really understand why mommy can't do all the things that she wants to do, and why I can't take her to classes and take her to the park and things like that. Just trying to spend a lot of quality time with the kids. Even though I'm nervous about the surgery, I'm also excited. I'm ready to be done with the pain and be able to get back to my old self, go traveling, do all sorts of fun things. And, I think I'm very lucky to have a wonderful family. And I think that we have a really great future ahead of us. Just got out of surgery and gave me a new hip. The surgery went well. I'm in my regular hospital room now and having some pain, so they just gave me the good meds. We got to the hospital at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and we came up and checked in. And then at 6:30, they took me back to get me prepped. And there was a nurse who was in a bit of a rush. She gave me these antibacterial wipes that I had to wipe my whole body with, and a gown and socks. And she sort of rushed me through the cleaning process. And then she kept saying she had some sort of class she had to get to. So, she disappeared after I was in bed and said, "Oh, somebody will be around to help you to do the rest." So I waited. About 45 minutes went by. Everybody around me was having their pre-op interviews and getting taken care of by nurses, but there was nobody for me to talk to. And then suddenly the doctor appeared. And he seemed a bit surprised that nobody had taken care of me yet. And it turns out that the first nurse hadn't bothered to tell anybody that I needed help. So then they had to very hurriedly prepare me, and then I met with the anesthesiologist, and then it was off to the races at that point. They took me into the operating room, which looked like a garage, like a mechanic's garage. They gave me a sedative, and that's the last thing I remember. I don't even remember them moving me over onto the operating table or giving me the spinal anesthesia. Nothing until I woke up in recovery. I've got a foot pump on both feet, trying to keep my blood flowing, prevent clots. And I have to breathe into this funny contraption 10 times every hour. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting up and moving, although right now that seems a little bit daunting. And right now I think I'm just sleepy, so I might take a nap.
I can't heal, I can't mend, I can't make it to the end.